Today, we're going to talk about what it really means to see ourselves. To see our thoughts, our emotions, and our stories, and how that one simple act can help us thrive in what feels like an ever more complicated world.
In South Africa, there's this beautiful Zulu greeting, sawubona. It means I see you, and by seeing you, I bring you into being. It's just such a powerful idea, right? And it makes you wonder, what happens when we try to apply that same idea to our own inner world?
Because, let's be honest, the way we see and deal with what's going on inside us, well, that drives absolutely everything. How we love, how we live, how we parent, how we lead, it all starts there.
To really get this, I want to share a personal story from apartheid South Africa, a whole country that was, in many ways, built on denial. And it's here that the destructive power of hiding from reality was learned in a very, very personal way.
The storyteller behind this is the psychologist Susan David, and she was just 15 years old when her father was dying of cancer. She tells the story of saying her final goodbye one morning and then just going to school and acting like it was any other day while he passed away.
For months, she just kept going, kept a smile on her face, didn't let a single grade drop, and whenever people would ask her how she was doing, she'd just kind of shrug and say, "I'm okay." And for that, people praised her. She became a master of being okay, a real expert at hiding her grief.
But that was the public face. Behind closed doors, the reality was just devastating. Her family was falling apart, not just emotionally, but financially too. She felt totally alone and started using food to numb her pain, refusing to accept the full, crushing weight of her grief. And nobody knew.
But then, one person saw through the act, an English teacher. This teacher just handed her a blank notebook with this simple but honestly revolutionary instruction. It was this incredible invitation to finally be authentic, to face the pain head-on. And that single act started a secret conversation with herself that would go on to shape her entire life's work.
Now, her experience, it really shines a light on a much bigger problem in our society. This pressure to always be okay, it's not just a personal thing, it's cultural. We're all living under what's been called a tyranny of positivity, and it pushes us toward being emotionally rigid.
And the data really backs this up. A survey of over 70,000 people found that a full one-third of us, a third, either judge ourselves for having so-called bad emotions, like sadness or anger, or we actively try to shove them away.
What this does is it creates this culture where being positive starts to feel like a new kind of moral correctness. You hear it all the time. People with cancer are told to just stay positive. Women are told to stop being so angry. It's a really cruel, unkind, and frankly, ineffective way to deal with the normal, natural range of human emotion.
And here's the kicker from a psychological perspective. This strategy totally backfires. Research on emotional suppression shows that when we try to push our emotions aside, they actually get stronger. Psychologists have a name for this. They call it amplification. So you think you're in control by ignoring a feeling, but in reality, that feeling starts to control you. That internal pain, it always comes out, one way or another.
This all leads to a pretty blunt but really powerful realization. When people say things like, "Oh, I don't want to try that because I don't want to feel disappointed," they are basically chasing what one psychologist calls dead people's goals. Because think about it, only dead people are free from stress and heartbreak and disappointment. The tough emotions are just part of the deal of being alive. You don't get to have a meaningful career or raise a family or make a difference in the world without stress and discomfort. That discomfort, it's the price of admission to a meaningful life. So if that toxic rigidity is the problem, how do we move beyond it? Well, the answer lies in developing something called emotional agility, and this is the real key to resilience and to thriving. So what is emotional agility? It's the ability to be with your emotions, all of them, with a sense of curiosity and compassion, and then having the courage to take steps that are actually connected to your core values. It's all about accepting your feelings without letting them call all the shots. This changes everything because it reframes our emotions as data, not directives. They're like little signposts pointing to things we care about. So if you feel rage when you read the news, that's a signal that you value things like equity and fairness. See, we own our emotions, they don't own us.
Okay, so that all sounds great in theory, but how do we actually put it into practice? Let's break this down into 4 practical steps you can use to build your own emotional courage.
First, you have to show up. Face your feelings. Don't run from them. Second, label them accurately.
There's a huge difference between feeling stressed and feeling disappointed. Getting precise helps you understand what's really going on. Third, see them as data, just like we talked about. Ask yourself, what is this emotion trying to tell me about what I care about? And finally, act on your values. Use that data to take actions that move you toward the person you actually want to be.
And that brings us right back to the beginning, back to that story of the young girl and her father. Because facing our fragility, facing our emotions, it isn't about getting rid of fear. No, it's about something else entirely.
This was the lesson her father taught her during those childhood nights when she was afraid of the dark, afraid of dying. He never lied to her or tried to invent some buffer from reality. He showed her that real courage isn't being fearless. It's being afraid and taking the next step anyway. Courage is fear walking.
You know, the beauty of life is completely inseparable from its fragility. Our time here is so precious. So when your moment comes to face that fragility, the ultimate question is going to be, are you agile? The goal is an unreserved yes. A yes that comes from a lifelong practice of truly seeing yourself. Sawubona.